Have you ever had that feeling? You know, that feeling where you're kind of going through life, you're busy, you're doing things, and then suddenly you realize, wait a second, I'm completely lost, totally off track. Like, how did I even get here?
Yeah.
Today, we're going to dive into that feeling.
Okay.
We're looking at a devotion by Ayodeji, and he really digs deep into what it means to feel lost.
Yeah.
But, more importantly, he talks about the amazing journey of finding your way back.
I think that's something a lot of people can relate to, feeling lost. It's a really common human experience, I think. And I love how Ayodeji connects that feeling to faith, to finding your way back, not just in a general sense, but back to a sense of belonging, back to something bigger than yourself.
Exactly. It's not just about being lost in the woods, right? It's about feeling lost in life.
Yeah.
And Ayodeji, in his devotion, Do You Feel Lost in the Shuffle? What a great title, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
He starts by really painting a picture of what that feels like. It's like carrying around this weight of your past mistakes, the sin, the guilt, the sorrow, all of that stuff.
Right. It's heavy stuff. And that weight, it can make you feel so small, so unworthy, so overlooked. And Ayodeji really gets that. He doesn't shy away from the raw emotion of it all.
Not at all. He's really honest about it. And then he does something really interesting. He contrasts that heavy, lost feeling with a totally different perspective. He reminds us that, yeah, the world might try to define us by our flaws, by our shortcomings. But Jesus tells a different story.
A much better story. And he uses a really powerful image to illustrate that. He brings in this parable, the parable of the lost sheep. And you can find it in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 18, verses 12 and 13.
I love this parable. It's so simple, yet so profound. Do you want to read that passage for us?
Absolutely. Okay, so Matthew, chapter 18, verses 12 and 13. Here it is. What do you think? If a man has 100 sheep, and one of them goes astray, does he not leave the 99 and go to the mountains to seek the one that is straying? And if he should find it, assuredly, I say to you, he rejoices more over that sheep than over the 99 that did not go astray.
Wow. I get chills every time I hear that.
Me too. I mean, just think about the imagery there. The shepherd leaving the safety and security of the 99 to go search for that one lost sheep. It just shows you the lengths that God will go to find us.
And the joy, right? The rejoicing when that sheep is found. It's not just relief. It's pure joy.
Yeah.
Celebration. It's like this incredible party just because that one sheep is back where it belongs.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the kind of love God has for us. It's personal. It's relentless. It's full of joy. He's not just doing a job. He genuinely cares about each and every one of us.
So powerful. Okay, so let's imagine that we, the listeners, we're that one lost sheep. What does it actually mean to be found by the Good Shepherd? How does that play out in our lives?
Well, I think Ayodeji explains it perfectly. He says it's about realizing that we are known, truly known, and loved, deeply loved by God.
I feel that, but honestly, sometimes it's hard to believe, you know?
I get it. It can be tough, especially when we're carrying around all that baggage. But that's where the next part comes in.
Yeah.
Letting go of the shame. Ugh, the shame.
Right. It's like this heavy anchor holding us back, keeping us stuck.
Freaking us lost.
Exactly. But God's grace, man, it's bigger than all of that. His grace can lift that anchor, set us free.
So how do we do that? How do we let go of that shame?
Well, Ayodeji actually gives us some practical steps. He lays out these 3 things we can do. First, we have to recognize that God is pursuing us.
Okay.
He's actively searching for us. He's already on the move, trying to find his lost sheep.
I like that.
And second, we got to let go of that shame.
Easier said than done, right?
Absolutely. But it's possible. And the key is remembering that God's grace is always bigger than our mistakes. He doesn't hold our past against us.
Okay, that's good to remember.
Yeah. And finally, we get to rest in the joy of being found.
The party.
Exactly. It's experiencing the fullness of God's love. It's feeling that relief, that lightness, that sense of belonging. It's like coming home after being lost for so long.
Those 3 steps are so helpful. Okay, so let's break those down a bit more. What does it look like to actually recognize God's pursuit? Well, it could be anything, really. It might be a feeling, a gut feeling. Maybe it's a sense of longing, like something's missing. Or maybe it's a thought that just pops into your head out of nowhere, a little nudge in a certain direction.
Or maybe it's a person you meet or a song you hear.
Exactly. It could be anything. But it's that little whisper, that feeling that something bigger is at play.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, and what about letting go of the shame? That feels like a big one.
It is. It's a process. But it's about forgiveness, about new beginnings. It's about realizing that God doesn't define us by our past. His love wipes the slate clean.
So we can finally breathe again.
Exactly. And when we do that, when we finally let go of that shame, that's when we can truly experience the joy of being found. That's when we can really celebrate.
That's a beautiful image.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've talked about feeling lost and the journey back to being found. And we've talked about God's incredible love and grace. But it makes me think, if God is constantly searching for us, how should we treat others who are struggling?
Oh, that's such a good point. You know, if God is that shepherd always looking for his lost sheep, then maybe we need to be shepherds too.
I love that. Maybe we need to extend that same grace and compassion to others, to those who are feeling lost, to those who are hurting, to those who are different from us.
Absolutely.
So much to think about. Well, if you'd like to explore more of Ayodeji's work, you can find his devotions online at devotion.leadwaymission.ca.
That's devotion.leadwaymission.ca.
And of course, you can catch the deep dive wherever you get your podcasts. Spotify, Apple, Amazon, Audible, we're everywhere.
That's right.
Join us tomorrow for another deep dive.
See you then.
Bye.